Okay, this is the first data set, so we'll do the scatter plot first. You go to your global environment, do import data set from CSV, browse. The first one I'm going to use is athlete, so I'm going to import that. It gives you a preview of it. It also gives you the code preview, so you can just have easy access and not have to go back to this whole browse thing again, and then do import. So there it is, popped up in my tab there, and go back over here. So this code is the same that just popped up in that previous window. It's just telling, to choose from your library, and then, the athlete read that file and where it's coming from, and then view it, so view that data set, and then attach the data set of athlete. So now I want to plot it, so I'm going to do plot, then choose the data set that I want, which is athlete. The $ indicates or pop brings up the variables that I can use from that data set. So the variable I'm going to use here is BMI. Separate it, choose another variable from the athlete data set. So again, do the $ to bring up my variable list, and this time it's going to be red blood count. Separate it again. The next command is PCH24, which tells the computer to make the little points on the data set, the triangles instead of the circles. Separated again. The title starts here with main. It's in parentheses just to tell it this is the name of the graph. So it's going to be BMI and red blood count. Separated again, my X label is BMI, and separated again, and my Y label is RBC. They're in quotes, especially for your X and Y label. If you type in the same name as a variable, it might think you're trying to access that variable and not just name it. So I'm going to highlight it real quick, then run it, and that's what it looks like. RBC, BMI, red blood count. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next one. For this next one, I just created some variables for the bar chart. So I have a vector here. I've just made up some random numbers and pushed that, which is what the C means, that this is a vector, just a sequence of information. And I'm just going to name this vector T, and that pops up right over here. Just says here are all the things that T has. And then I want to make a table out of this so it's easier to read. So I'm going to name my table TX. So type in TX and push that data into TX, when the data being pushed is a table. So you type table, and then what do you want in your table? Again, this information, this vector, which is T, so type in T, so it pulls that. So once your table is created, now I can make that table into a graph. So I type in bar plot, which brings up, and I tell what data set I want it to use, or what I want it to graph. So I type in this table, so TX right here. Again, I'm going to name it, so my main title is going to be mindfulness treatment. Separate again with a comma. My X label is going to be number of participants, comma, the separated Y label is treatment group. And then this last part, I want my bars to be horizontal, not vertical, so that's where this horiz equals true comes in. And then, so I'm going to highlight this chunk and run it. And then there's that graph. Mindfulness treatment group, number of participants. Okay, so for the last one, I'm going to pull up another data set. So again, go to import data set from CSV, browse. This one is car price that I'm interested in, so I'm going to open that up. And this is the data set that I have from that. Again, it gives you that code preview, which it automatically pulls up in the console. So here it is, create another tab. And this is that code preview that it just showed us. So again, I'm going to attach it so R knows that I'm working with that specific one and where to pull the data from. So attach car price. Now I'm going to plot this one again. Actually, ignore this line. That one I should delete it. I have to install a package for this one, the SM package, which is smoothing methods for non-parametric regression and density estimation. It basically just tells R to read this type of data in a certain way so we can do this density plot and create the distribution instead of like a bar plot or something. So I install that, and it brings the following kind of information down here, and it gets installed. And then I'm going to tell R that I want to use that right now. So I type in library to bring that up. So I do plot again to do a plot, except this time I specify which type of plot I want, and that's going to be the density plot. And I tell it which type of density plot I want, or where the data is coming from, which again is car price. So I pull up the $, and that tells me which variable I want from that data set, and this one's going to be miles per gallon highway. And then I'm going to name it miles per gallon highway and car type, and then separate it, and my X label is going to be miles per gallon highway. So that would just give us one. So if I just go ahead and run this part, these two lines right here, or actually just this one line, and go to run, that just gives me that one line. But I have, different types of cars. I have different levels. So I go and I type in, again using this SM, so the smoothing methods for this type, density, except I want to compare the different levels of the variables in my graph. So again, I tell it to use this car price data set. I tell it, which variable I want with a $, choose that variable, so miles per gallon highway, separate it, and the other variable I want is car price, $, to tell me what variable, and type. So my X label is miles per gallon highway, and then because I have 3 levels, I have to specify which colors I want each line to be. So this is colors, and I'm going to specify that this vector of information, or these different colors, are going to be green, blue, and cyan. So then I'm going to name again my title, my main title. I think the first time I ran it, I actually ignored this line. I already did that. I think it was messing the first time I did it, but anyway. So this is where I get to, so now that I have that, I'll go ahead and run it again. So it'll add. Okay, so now we can see the green, blue, and that one. So now I need and a legend so people know obviously what each of these lines mean. So I'm just going to create a variable, which is going to be car type, so I'll put C type right here. But I have this factor basically is an integer vector, and it's just what I'm going to type in here is how I want the different levels of my variable to be categorized. So again, I'm telling it to pull from this data set of car price, in which the $, so I can choose the variable, which is car type right here. So then I have to define what the levels, or how many different types are within the variable of car type. So again, a vector defining that there are 3 different types, so 1, 2, and 3. But then I have to tell it what I want those to be labeled. And so 1 is going to be small, 2 is going to be mid-size, and 3 is going to be large. So that's what that does. And then I need to tell it what the colors are. So this is the color fill of the little boxes in your legend. So I'm telling it again, here's another vector, that I have 3 colors, that I have 3 lengths, just allows you to specify the length of the vector. And I'm telling it, to refer back to levels right here, that I have 3 levels, and then which levels of, what variable. So again, it's pulling all this information that has been pushed into C type is right here. C type. So it's referring to the 3 different levels, the names of the 3 different levels, and telling it, to push it into their 3 colors, and telling it to push it into filling those boxes in the legend. And so then we get to the legend part, and again, this is commanding that I'm going to have, or allowing me to do a legend in my graph. So the locator, it records the position of where my cursor is and allows me to put it on the graph. So I have, one location or one cursor, and then I'm telling it again which levels of my variable, or how many levels I have. All that information again that was pushed into C type is being referenced again here, and then what colors am I using and how many, and all that kind of stuff again is being pushed in to this, or that was pushed into color fill is being referenced, so fill the boxes and the colors and the information from this cofill. So if I highlight just this last chunk and then I run it, it brings up this little stop sign again, and if I go over here, it brings up the cursor, and I do that, and so it tells me that the large is this first line, mid-size is the dark blue, and green are the small. And that's it.